and welcome to my kitchen again. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make sauerkraut. For sauerkraut I use head of cabbage, the round cabbage. If you remember and if you watched the other video that I made when I made kimchi, I made it with the napa cabbage. So I already started cutting the cabbage, and altogether I will have about 5 pounds of cut cabbage. I personally do not use the heart of the cabbage, but I know that you can slice it or put it through the food processor and use the hearts too. Now I also make it mostly from the green cabbage. I know that some people like to mix the white with the purple cabbage. It will give the sauerkraut a golden color, which is really beautiful. So you can try it. The cabbage that I'm making today, the sauerkraut that I'm making today, will be made with turmeric and cumin seeds. Both of them are anti-inflammatory and really healthy for the guts. I do believe that when you take turmeric in pills, you don't really hit it. You can't really absorb it because the molecules of the turmeric are too large for the lining of the gut, for the blood barrier in the gut. So if you want your turmeric to really pass into the blood and work systemically on the body as an anti-inflammatory, you want to ingest it as food, preferably with meat, with fat, because fat really helps the body absorb it. So I find that if you will eat a little bit of your sauerkraut, of this golden sauerkraut that I'm making now, with fatty meat or any other fatty meal, it will help the body absorb the turmeric into the body, and the same is true for the cumin. So what I cut here is about 5 pounds of cabbage. It's about 2 cabbages, but you also, each year cabbage is a little bit different, and it all really depends on how dense they are on that year, because basically we had a real bad drought this year, so the cabbage is really dense. So now for 5 pounds of cabbage, I will add 3 to 5 tablespoons of salt first. I will start with 3 and see what's going on. Basically the salt makes the cabbage sweat liquid, so you don't generally need to add brine. So you kind of massage it and help the cabbage sweat and spread the salt all over. And I can feel it sweating, but I have to say, because this year was very dry, I found that the cabbages were a little bit dry, so I had to add brine to them. They do sweat, but not as profusely as other years. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of curry. That's immediately, you smell the smell of curry. 2. And I like cumin, so I'm going to dabble on the cumin. I'm actually going to do 2 tablespoons of cumin. Now you can also cut some onions and add them to your sauerkraut. And you can also make some onion and garlic and any other vegetables that you like to ferment. You can add to your sauerkraut. But I chose, like last week I demonstrated making kimchi that is more a mix of vegetables. And this week I wanted to make only the kraut. Now it's really sweaty, not as much as I would like it to be, but I can start packing it in a jar. I think about 5 pounds of cabbage will be around a gallon jar. So you can do it either in a gallon jar, and you want to really pack it tight. I remind you that fermentation is anaerobic, so you don't want air in there. It's an anaerobic digestion, basically, metabolism. So you really want to pack the bowl, the jar really tight. Oops. Now you want to leave some space on the top because it is going to swell a little with the process of fermentation. Now, although it's tightly packed, I don't have enough fluids there, so I'm going to add a little bit of brine to it. About a tablespoon of salt for a cup of water is what I make for brine. And then I shake it really well. Yeah, usually the cabbage sweat enough so I don't need to add brine, but this year I feel like everything is so wet and dry that the brine is needed. And as you can see, yeah, I don't want it to swim in the brine, I just need it to be really soaked so it's not exposed to the air. And what I do is I fill a Ziploc bag with water and I put it on the top, and it's kind of way down everything. And then I cover it with a cloth so flies and bugs cannot go in. So just a cotton cloth to protect it. Oh. I guess. Yeah. Up. like that, and then I let it sit on my counter, and I will check it every other day for a week to 4 weeks. It depends on the weather. In a cooler weather it will take longer. In a really warm, humid weather it will take shorter. And I will try it, and it actually depends on your taste. Some people like their sauerkraut to be more crunchy than others, so they will stop the fermentation process earlier. Some people like it more on the well done side. So once you taste it and it tastes good to you and you like the crunchiness of it, you can just take off the fabric, take out the plastic bag with the what weighed down, and then put a lid on it and put it in the refrigerator. And I think once a day at least, with a meal, a tablespoon of kraut, either sauerkraut, kimchi, any fermented food, is really helpful for your microbiome and for your gut health. So I hope it was really helpful. I will add the recipe so you can make it yourself with the exact amount. Enjoy!